Mama said knock you out. Huh. I'm gonna knock you out. Huh. Mama said knock you out. Huh. I'm gonna knock you out. Of the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Or Timo Meyer.
Or Timo Meyer. That poor bastard. He has so many bruises. Welcome back to Buzz Bucks.
Hi.
I'm Bert.
I'm Clay.
And we are here to wrap up the first round
It
of
up.
the Stanley Cup playoffs. And coincidentally, we had to push back our normal recording about a day.
But it
Worked out perfectly because there was one Game 7 last night. So that would have been weird that we just didn't talk about the one Game 7.
Yep. And
tonight starts the second round.
tonight starts the second round. Round one is over. There were a couple of upsets, some more surprising than others.
Yeah, two big ones.
I argue only one super big one.
Okay, well, your predictions say otherwise, but
Oh, two super big ones with the Islanders. The Islanders.
Yeah. Well, I would say, just going off our predictions, I called 3/4 of the West perfectly.
Well,
I want to say, I'm just saying.
Same.
Did you? Same.
I had Edmonton, Dallas.
I called the exact number of games too.
Okay,
that's what I meant.
Okay,
That's
I
what
didn't.
meant.
I didn't
Sorry.
do that. I didn't do that.
No. You picked some of the winners, but I was like, wait a minute, did I luck into this right here? Anyway, before we get into any and all of that, what are we drinking, Clay?
We are drinking Saranac Brewing's S'mores
I
Porter.
think I've had this before.
I feel like you have.
Yeah.
It's from upstate New York. I saw it.
Yeah, I recognize that. It really tastes like s'mores.
I was
Have
upstate.
you ever had this before?
We might have done it on this podcast.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, like shockingly tastes like s'mores.
I saw it. Thought of you.
Oh,
I knew you would like
that's
it.
so sweet.
Oh my goodness.
What a sweetie pie.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's good. If you like s'mores. Although I could see it getting kind of hard to drink a bunch of these.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's just very sweet.
Yes.
All right.
But 6%
Yeah, 6%. Good though. Tastes good.
from Utica, New York.
Utica. You want to start? I think I started last time. I can start if you want me to. That's fine. Let's start with the Carolina Hurricanes knocking out the New York Islanders in 6 games.
We'll get the games out the way, and then we'll talk about our thoughts.
So the Islanders coming into Game 5 were down 3-1 in this series. If you guys remember correctly from last week, we mentioned that we didn't really see a path for the Islanders to get back in this. I think we both agreed maybe they would steal one more game.
Yep.
Which they did in Game 5, beating Carolina 3-2. They were outshot by Carolina 36-22. The Islanders were 0-for-3 on the power play in that game. Engvall and Nelson each had a goal and an assist. Sorokin, great game, 34 of 36.
Yes.
Carolina 0-for-4 on the power play. Aho and Stasny had the goals for them. There you go.
You can always count on Paul Stastny to score in overtime, but that's not this game.
That's not this game. That's Game 6. 2-1 Carolina in overtime. Paul Stastny, as Clay just mentioned, scored that overtime game winner. Aho had the other goal. Carolina was 0-for-2 on the power play. Islanders 0-for-3 on the power play. Clutterbuck, of all people, had their one goal.
Yes, he did.
What's so weird about the Islanders is I don't know if their tactics shift in the playoffs, but guys like Matt Martin, Cal Clutterbuck, and Casey Cizikas seem to score the majority of their goals.
Didn't Matt Martin score a shorthanded goal this series?
I don't know if it was shorthanded, but he definitely scored this series.
I believe it was a
Let me look back.
breakaway.
Let me look back at my notes here. Don't I have that written down anywhere? Oh, yes. He scored in Game 3.
Okay.
I don't know if it was shorthanded. It might have been shorthanded.
I know it was a breakaway, but again, Matt Martin on a breakaway.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know if the Islanders just, like, are like, oh, we're going to turtle up. And I just think there's got to be something there that's, like, detrimental to their skill offensive players, because Barzal scored a couple goals in this series. Horvat, I think, had one.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, they didn't score that much, which is like their MO, but
It's like Anders Lee would be a 50-goal scorer if he was on another.
he's almost a 50-goal scorer on the Islanders.
Right.
He would be even further up there if he was, say, on I don't know, Edmonton.
Yeah.
With playing with McDavid and Draisaitl, you know,
Heck, like Winnipeg or something like that. Like,
hold on, if you'll indulge me for a second, I want to pull up the playoff points.
Okay.
Like the stats
yeah.
for the players.
yeah, I'll indulge.
But yeah, so Game 6 ended in overtime. Paul Stastny scored a really, really weird goal where he kind of just threw it at Sorokin.
Banked it off his skate.
Banked it off his skate, and it just went in. And I got to say, what a terrible way for Sorokin's season to end.
Well,
because he might win the Vezina. He had a fantastic season. I don't know if he'll win the Vezina because Allmark is there, but like he had a great season, and just for it to end like that on like a weird fluke goal in overtime is just like, oh.
But that's the playoffs.
That is the playoffs.
It's the
no,
playoffs.
You're right. That's the playoffs. That just sucks. But look at these stat lines. I mean, Brock Nelson and Cal Palmieri each had 5 points in this series for the Islanders.
Yep.
And then the next 2 guys up there in scoring are Pulock and Mayfield, who are both defensemen. And then like,
Cizikas
had 3 points too, and then Barzal scored 2 goals. Like, look at this. How'd this even get to 6 games? How'd this even get to 6 games? And
we thought because
we thought because
Carolina was banged up.
Carolina was banged up, missing Svechnikov. Svechnikov's not going to play in the playoffs. Like, everybody already knew that.
But defensively, Carolina shored up.
They did. They locked him down. And I mean,
prevented-
Aho had a great series. Just looking at it here, 4 goals, 3 assists for him in this series.
Did he get a goal or an assist off of his face?
I think a goal. No, wait. Who was it that scored that goal off their face?
Hyman scored a goal off their face.
I think it was Aho. I think Aho got a goal off his face.
I think
too,
there were
yeah.
2 goals off of faces in one night.
The rare face goal.
But like I think both of them might have been in one night.
It's crazy. Sorry, I was just silencing my alarm before that even happened. Yeah, Seth Jarvis and Stefan Nason, each had 4 points for Carolina as well. Let's swap over to goalies really quick.
That's how that works? Darn it.
Yeah.
That would have been a lot easier
I don't know, not Calgary. They didn't make the playoffs.
to look up those stats.
All right, let's look. Ronta played most of the games.
Yep.
5 of the 6, winning 3, losing 2. 906 save percentage, 259 goals against. Anderson, I believe, just played the last game.
He got the start for the last game.
Yeah, so I don't know if Ronta's hurt. I don't know why they would pivot like that, because it's not like Ronta was playing that bad. He wasn't playing great, but
I think
Anderson, 33-34, 1 goal against, 971 in that last game. So
yeah.
can't really sniff at that, but he only played 1 game. So take a look. I want to see what Sorokin definitely played all 6 games. I don't think they chased him at all. No, they did not. 2-4, still had a 929 save percentage, 260 goals against. Like, come on.
Like the save percentage of another goalie that got eliminated in this round was a 931.
Yeah.
So
unfortunately, goaltenders can do a lot. They can steal you a series, but sometimes if you're not doing shit in front of them,
they can't do anything.
They can't do anything to help if you're not scoring goals, which is what the Islanders weren't doing. You know, they scored 5 in game 3, and then 3 in game 5. But in every other game, I believe they were held to 1.
Right.
2. I'm sorry. Oh no. Okay. No, I was wrong.
They had that 5-1 game.
1 goal in game 1, 3 goals in game 2, which was an overtime game. 5 goals in that 5-1 game 3 win. 2 goals in the 5-2 game 4 loss.
Right.
And then 2 goals in game 5 and 1 goal in the overtime loss where they got eliminated. So, that's not good enough.
No.
Not nearly good enough, Islanders.
Nope.
Oh, boy. Well, that's it. Carolina moves on. A little banged up, but not too bad, I don't think.
They lose Teravainen.
That's right. They did lose
He's
Teravainen.
done for the season.
So that's not gonna
help.
That's not gonna help against the Devils. No.
Didn't they lose?
Spoiler.
Okay, yeah, they're like they have like 3 big offensive guys that are out. One being Teravainen, one being Svechnikov. Maybe they're including Patches, but they lost someone else.
I guess maybe they're including Pacioretty, but he only played like 2 games.
Right.
Unfortunately for him. That's it. Carolina moves on.
All right.
To the second round, and the Islanders. God Christ! Change your coaching style. Change your system. You play good defense. You guys refuse to score goals.
I mean,
unless it's against the fucking Penguins.
I'm fine with Lambert. Even the style is all right.
I don't know that he needs to get fired, but like something clearly needs to be adjusted. You clearly need to like focus on offense a little more.
It's also realize that you're getting older. Like
that too.
Palmieri is 38, 37.
Is he really that old? Oh my goodness.
That was probably his last. Parise, not.
Parise. Yeah, I was like, I don't think Palmieri is 38. Palmieri is definitely in his 30s.
But Parise had a good regular season.
But like, man, so Palmieri and Nelson had fine series, but like Horvat and Barzal having 2 goals and a goal and an assist each, that's like nothing. And then so many other of these players in their top 10 scoring are defensemen.
Yeah. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4 of the top 10, including 2 of the top 4 for the Islanders scoring, are defensemen. And like that's nice, but like you got to have some sort of offensive output by these guys. And I think you gave up like a bunch of shit to get Bo Horvat for him to put up 2 points in this series.
Well, Horvat, looking into, there was an interview with Boudreau, like talking about the drop off offensively.
I think everybody figured it would happen just because of the system. But
because a lot of Horvat's goals this year were tip-ins in front of the nets. I think they were tip-ins.
That's fine.
No, it's great. But in the Islanders, they kind of already have a lot of guys who stand in front of the net.
That's what Brock Nelson, that's what Anders Lee does, yeah. That's Anders Lee's whole thing.
Exactly. So
Brock Nelson, to a lesser extent.
There's already a guy who is in front of the net, so you have to figure out something else to do.
Did Anders Lee not even play?
No, he's there.
Oh, there he is, yeah.
He
won one goal. Thanks, Captain. I don't know. So, I don't think it's something. It's just my gut feeling doesn't want to blame the players for this.
Like Horvat defensively, face-off wise, he actually had a fine season. He just didn't put up any points.
Sure. He just didn't really. Well, not when he got to the Islanders. He didn't put up any points. He was doing okay in Vancouver.
I'm talking for the Islanders. For the Islanders, he had a good season defensively and with face-offs and all that stuff. Just points wise.
Yeah, he was over 50% on face-offs. His shooting percentage was 12.5%, which is still pretty good.
Right, so he just was never in the spot to shoot.
Or he was taking shots that just were nothing. He only had 8 shots in this series. All right, Islanders.
All right.
Go home and figure it out.
As Bert was talking about, a goalie can steal you a series.
Yep.
We're going to talk about how the goalie can lose you a series, and we're talking about Boston and Florida.
Oh, man. We weren't even going to tease this one for the end?
No. Got to get this out the bat.
All right.
Do
you want me to pull up any stats?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a lot of their stats, but...
no, we can have all of them.
Yeah. So, Boston, in their historic season... Does better than Tampa. Does better than the Red Wings.
True. They actually won games.
They sent it to 7.
But, you could argue...
They didn't make it out of the first round.
You could argue a bigger choke job. They were up 3-1, dominating this series.
Here's the thing.
Dominating.
This is kind of Boston's MO, but people look at the Leafs.
I guess that's true.
Boston has a history of choking.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Like to the Flyers in 2010.
Oh, that was the reverse sweep. You're right.
Yes.
To Chicago in that one Stanley Cup, they had the lead with like 30 seconds left, and then I think of Game 6, and they gave up the lead in like 18 seconds. They gave up the lead and lost that game and lost the Stanley Cup
against Philadelphia in 2010. They were up on the series 3-0.
Yeah. They barely showed up against St. Louis in the Stanley Cup final when St. Louis won. But, like, just comparing them to the, 96 Red Wings, I think it was?
Yes.
Oh, my God. Excuse me. That I had burped, and then there was, like, more hot air than I was expecting came with it. The 96 Red Wings, I think it was the 96 Red Wings, and the 2019 Tampa Bay Lightning, comparatively, yes, those teams got swept in the first round, which that sucks. But I will say, I think this is a bigger choke because Boston up 3-1, totally in control of this series. Florida, we said last week, we were like, we have no confidence in Florida to even win another game in this series.
Well,
and they were, and then Boston was just like, oopsie.
Well, okay, so we're gonna get to it, but we saw them steal the game, which they did in Game 5.
Yes.
So
that was a great game.
It was a great game. A lot of these games were really good games. They were excellent games. It was one of the
these last three. The first four, not so much.
Yes, the series overall is a really good series.
Sure.
Especially how it ended.
Awesome comeback by Florida.
Yes. So, Game 5 ended in overtime. Boston lost 3-4. Allmark had the start there. He was 21 for 25, so that's an 8.4 save percentage. And then Bobrovsky got the start on this 44.
Mr. showing up in the playoffs, Sergei Bobrovsky.
Mr. showing up against record-setting teams.
That's true.
Sergei Bobrovsky.
He's such a dragon slayer at this point.
That right there, worth the $10 million.
Honestly,
yeah,
maybe, yeah. The rest of it,
right.
But like, he'll slay that dragon for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, 65 win Boston, whatever.
Right. So Allmark faced 25 shots, let in 4. Bobrovsky faced 47.
Jesus Christ.
Boston was all over them in this series, or not this series, in this game specifically. But this all ended, with 17 seconds left in the game, tied. Boston wins a defensive zone faceoff, and Marchand gets a breakaway.
Oh,
that Bobrovsky saves.
With 2 seconds.
7 seconds left.
7 seconds, yeah.
17 at the start, took all 10 seconds to get there. So
I remember I was watching that, and I was like, "Oh God, here we go."
That's the backbreaker.
And then Bobrovsky saved it. I was like, "Oh."
And then in overtime, Allmark.
Oh God, yeah, Allmark. What a mistake.
With a awful turnover for Hagee, who set it up to Tkachuk. To set us to Game 6.
Yep, it was a pretty play there. But at this point, Boston fan, Boston coaching, okay. We had that game won. We had it won, but we just made a mistake and they cashed in. It's okay. We got 2 more games.
We got 2 more games. Game 6.
This game was insane.
Game 6 was a track meet.
Yeah.
And not as much the first 2 periods.
Third period was though
track meet. The game ended 7-5 with one of that 7th goal being a shorthand empty netter. Yeah. Again, Allmark and Bobrovsky both in net there. None of their save percentages are great.
No.
Pastrnak had 2 goals. Tkachuk had 2 goals and an assist. Boston was 3 for 4 on that power play, and 2 for 4, and had a shorthanded goal on the penalty kill. So
yeah,
defense was kind of optional
in this game. At least, yeah.
Every time Boston would take the lead, Florida had an answer.
Yeah, within a couple of minutes.
With Luosterainen putting in very clutch goals. That might have been. It was either the 5th or the 6th goal was a Luosterainen goal.
I want to say it was the winner.
Yeah.
I think it was the 6th goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that game right there, that evens up the series.
What a fun game to watch.
It was a great game to watch. So Game 7 comes around. They take out Allmark. Swayman goes in net.
I was wondering why they did this, but after they announced it afterwards, it made sense.
Yes, which we'll go back to because that brings some questions.
Yeah.
This game does go to overtime. It is a 3-4 Florida victory in overtime.
Dude. Unbelievable.
Where Swayman, it said like his save percentage was an 8.9 or an 8.7. It's an 8.7.
But according to NHL.com, it was 8.75.
He played so much better than that.
He played better than that, yeah.
Excellent. None of these goals are on him. Absolutely none of them. You can argue the first one, but the first one, his own player bumped into him.
That's true. No, he was screened on the overtime game winner, too.
He was very much screened.
It's not really his fault. And that was a snipe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Krejci had 3 points that night, a goal and 2 assists. Yeah. Boston was down 2-0 and battled back to take the lead in the third period. And Florida had it
until with 1 minute left.
59 seconds. Yeah. But Florida scores the tying goal.
I was watching this game. I was like, "There's no way they're going to tie this game."
With Brandon Montour getting a juicy rebound shot off the goalie, and just buried it. Montour had 2 goals this game. They were also. Boston was also 2 for 4 on the power play in this game, and then Florida was 1 for 3 on the. Florida was 1 for 3 on the power play, so there was some special teams. Florida moves on. They kill the Giants.
Unbelievable.
Now that
the team that everybody was like, nobody's going to beat Boston, lost in the first fucking.
Here's the thing. I had it going to 7.
You did.
With going to 7, anything could happen.
That's true.
Anything can happen.
You're right. Clay trying to make the argument here that he was right.
No.
Regardless.
No. I thought Boston had it, but
I mean, just based off of.
I knew this wasn't going to be the cakewalk that so many other people thought it was.
I mean, through 4 games, it looked like it was going to be.
Did.
It looked like it was going to end in 5, 6 max.
It really did.
And then they lost in 7. Unbelievable, dude.
So looking back, it came out what Bert was alluding to.
Yeah.
Ullmark has been playing with an injury.
Yeah, like a pretty bad one.
Pretty early on. Yeah. It hasn't said what yet. Could be groin, could be hip.
It was a lower body of some sort. Yeah.
So with that in mind, they probbe
I don't know. If
they go with Swayman in Game 6,
might have won.
This might not be a talking
point.
Might have
won. Well, we don't know when he got that injury. Was it in Game 6? Did they find out after Game 6 that he had that injury, or was he playing the entire series with it?
The argument is, I think he was playing the entire series with it because he was questionable going into Game 1, and he did not skate in any of the off games.
You're right.
A lot of people were saying it was the illness that was going around, but this very much could have been he'd gotten hurt in the last game of the season.
Right. Well, I did see some people on Twitter saying, Boston was clearly chasing wins at the end of the year, too, when maybe they should have been sitting some guys.
Yes.
Ullmark?
And with Ullmark in Game 6, Florida figured that out. They knew he could not move left to right, and they took advantage of that.
Yeah. If you're just a casual hockey watcher, there is a lot of minutia that's going on in the sport where they're watching tape. They're watching tape between periods.
Yes.
They got guys up in the booth watching tape, and somebody on Florida was like, "Oh, he can't get lateral.
No,
he can't move lateral."
So that's why third period was a bloodbath.
Yeah,
it all opened up, and Jim Montgomery talking about they asked him a question about talking about playing Ullmark, and it's just that's the goalie coach. So he tried to throw blame on the goalie coach.
You're the head coach.
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
You're the head goddamn
You're his
coach.
boss. You're the goalie coach's boss.
Yes.
That's on you.
Yes. And if...
Oh, man.
So,
wow, That's crazy.
The whole season, everyone's talking about.
I didn't see that. Yeah.
Everyone is talking about you have the best 1A, 1B
Yeah.
in the league.
I would still say that's true.
Play your 1B.
Yeah, play Swayman.
If
last week or two, you would still probably have that many wins.
If
you probably still
Allmark
would have
is
broken the
hurt,
record.
Why aren't you putting in your backup, who is playing at the end just as good as Allmark?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
they outcoached themselves.
Maybe Bergeron wanted to play him. He was the coach.
Well,
Montgomery said that too. Bergeron also had like some sort of crazy injury.
He had a herniated disc.
How was he playing the last 2 games?
3 games.
Or 3 games, yeah.
Herniated disc. He had -1 points.
Oh, he was on for
1 goal.
For a shorthanded goal against.
1 goal, -1 points.
Was it an own goal? What do you mean -1 points?
Like plus minus.
He was a -1?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Sorry, my bad.
He was a -1.
He was a -1. He only had 1 goal.
That might be it for him too. Like he's at that point where
I know if
it was questionable he was going to play this year.
Oh, he took a lap at the end of this series.
Very questionable if he plays next year. Yeah,
he's very much done.
Especially with a herniated disc. I've never had a herniated disc, but I've had other back problems, and they're not fun at all.
Bergeron is probably done career-wise.
We'll see. I would say too, with the lap around the ring or something. Could you imagine if he signed with some other team next year? It'd be so funny.
There's no way.
It'd be so great. No, I don't think so either. But it'd be crazy.
Another problem is it got to the point where, hey, maybe you sit Bergeron.
You can't.
But you can't.
You can. He's a legend.
Right.
At this point, he's a Hall of Famer.
So talking about those those stats.
Look at these stats right here.
So Allmark, who played those 6 games, he was 3-2-1 with an .890 and a 3.33 goals against average. Bobrovsky, who played 4 games, .889 average with 3.9 goals against.
Yeah, that's
Bertuzzi and Marchand are their top points getters of the series. Bertuzzi was 5 goals, 5 assists, so that's 10 points.
They got to re-sign Tyler Bertuzzi.
They can't afford Tyler Bertuzzi.
Oopsie.
We're going to talk about this
once we get to our
break down.
Yeah, once we get to our wrap-ups, yeah.
Boston went all in this window, and this door just shut.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. How much does Brad Marchand have left in the tank? He's not a spring chicken. He's not. Like 35 or 36 too, I think.
Marchand's their other top player, 4 goals, 6 assists.
He had a great series too. Yeah.
-6, -6.
Oh my God, he has a -6.
He's got a -6.
I'm sorry, you might have said it, but Bertuzzi was a -4 as well.
I did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Taylor Hall had a good series.
Yes, he did. Taylor Hall had a good series.
Sorry, I have the stats up too.
On the Florida side, Tkachuk is their top player with 5 goals, 6 assists. He got 11 points. He was even when he did not get on the point sheet, he was very.
Oh my God, he had 11 points.
11 points.
Good Lord.
With that game-winning series-winning screen as well. He was very much in it. And
he's a hell of a player.
Oh my God. He's such a bitch, but he's so good.
Yeah.
And they calmed down the shenanigans after Game 4.
They did. They reeled it. They
reeled everything in. They kept cooler heads, and that's why they were able to prevail.
By the way, Carter Verhaeghe was the one who scored the game-winning goal.
Yes, Verhaeghe got the game-winning goal.
We mentioned that. The series-winning goal.
Yes. Brandon Montour is not second on the list of points.
No,
yes,
he
is.
Yeah, he is. Well, he's tied with Verhaeghe.
5 goals and 3 assists.
That's
from
crazy.
Brandon Montour.
Coming from a defenseman, 5 goals in a series. Good Lord.
He's been known as a defensive defenseman for most of his career.
Not this year. Didn't he have like 16 goals or something?
Yes.
Yeah. Good for him.
Boston was 40% on their power play.
Damn. Yeah, you look at those stat lines for Boston, you're like, they won the series with all of the points.
And then 75% on their penalty kill.
That's not as good.
Not as good. It's better than some of these penalty kill numbers out here.
Sure.
So if Florida wants to move on to the next round, they got to clean that up because their next round opponent is very good.
Yeah, well, we'll get to them in a second.
Offensively.
Yes. We'll get to them in a second.
I wasn't gonna say who it was.
You guys don't know.
No,
you don't watch. You don't watch the games. You just listen to us.
But yeah, that's kind of all I got. We will get more into
anybody that just listens to this and doesn't watch the games.
What are you doing?
This should be supplemental. You're a silly person. Hey, but if you are listening and you don't watch the games, I'm happy you're here. Don't get me wrong, but you're a silly person.
We will do deeper dives into...
I do want to give a quick shout out to my mom, just because I don't remember what game it was after, but she texted me. She was like, these games are cutting into my British murder mystery time, which was so funny.
Oh, man.
Such a funny thing to say. Because my mom loves hockey.
Right.
She loves all sports. And except basketball, really. But
Pittsburgh doesn't have a basketball team, so
that's
it makes
true.
sense.
That would be why, yeah. But she loves football, baseball, hockey. And it's just so funny. You'll text me after games, and she'll text me after games, like at the same time. You guys will, or I'll text both of you.
Right.
All right. Let's move on to another very somewhat exciting series.
Yeah. Until it wasn't.
The New York Rangers and the New Jersey Devils. The Devils win in 7.
They win in 7. I still called the amount of games it took.
You did. I called the winner, at least.
You did.
Yeah.
So together, we got there.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, together we called it right. Right, guys?
Yeah,
right?
That's how that works.
Right? So, coming into this week, they had only played 3 games, and the Rangers were up 2-1 in the series.
Yep.
And those 2 wins, they won very convincingly.
5-2, 5-1.
I think they were both 5-1. I'm pretty sure.
If not 5-2.
They were both 5-1. I remember thinking it was weird that they were both 5-1. Yes. Game 1 and 2 were both 5-1 for the Rangers, and then Game 3 was overtime 2-1 for the Devils. So coming into this week, starting with Game 4, the Devils tied the series up.
Yep.
3-1 away.
Oh, real quick, this entire round 1, home ice is lava.
Yeah, especially in this series.
Everyone was road warriors.
That's what you need, though, because as you get deeper, you got to get those wins on the road.
Yeah.
Everybody. Anybody.
But so many, like, Florida's was on the road.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. This one was at home.
Yes, this is one of the few at home, but
through the first 4 games, the away team won.
Yes.
So the Devils went up 3-1 in the series. They tied the series with a 3-1 victory.
Mm-hmm.
New Jersey was 0-2 on the power play in Game 4. Siegenthaler, a goal and an assist. Palat and Hughes had the other goals.
I miss Siegenthaler.
Yeah, he's playing pretty well for the Devils.
I knew he would.
Yeah, I miss John Marino, so I'm right there with you, bud.
Okay, cool.
The Rangers 0-3 on the power play. Vinny Trocheck. I just wrote Trocheck. He had the 1 goal, I'm assuming.
Friends in sadness. My B.
Vinny Trocheck had the 1 goal for the Rangers in that game. Moving on to Game 5. 4-0 Devils.
Yes.
And at a certain point, I don't remember. How many games did he play?
4? We're talking about Schmid, right?
Schmid, yeah. So, okay. Starting with, he played 5 games.
Okay.
Where he was
Game
4-1. So, no, Game 3. In Game 3, the Devils switched over to Akira Schmid.
That's what happened. Okay.
And everything changed.
Yep.
Yeah. So they win this game 4-0. Remember that. They outshot the Rangers 43-23. The Devils were 1 for 5 on the power play. Palat scored 39 seconds into the game.
Yes, he did.
Howla had a goal and an assist in this game as well. Dawson Mercer, a goal and an assist. And Schmid made 23 saves for the shutout. Thank you so much. That's a big old yikes by the Rangers there.
He's 22.
Yeah, he's a young
third-string goalie.
Third string. Oh, Blackwood. Yeah, is their other goalie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Vanacek and Blackwood are ahead of him, but...
Not anymore.
Maybe, at least definitely not Blackwood anymore. Moving on to Game 6, the Rangers came back to life.
Yes.
Won the game 5-2. Pretty convincing fashion. 1 for 4 on the power play. Kreider got back in the scoring sheet. Goal, 2 assists. Tarasenko and Zibanejad each had a goal and assist. Fox, 2 assists. The Devils 1 for 3 on the power play. Lazar and Mercer scored their goals.
So after games 4 and 5, and the way that the Devils
looking bleak for
levels
the
one,
Rangers,
just like, oh, the Rangers are cooked. They're done.
Yeah, you could watch those games and be like, oh, the Devils figured them out.
Yep, 100%. Yeah. And then game 6 happened. It's just like, oh, the Rangers could. The Rangers are still in this.
You watch that game and you're like, all right, the Rangers, okay. They're like, oh, all right, we tweaked it, we tweaked the game plan, and we're right back in it.
Yes.
Right? Game 7.
This is a more embarrassing game 7 than Boston's.
4-0 Devils. Oh. And it was not close.
It was boring.
It was boring. The Devils 0 for 3 on the power play. Marino and Palat each had 2 assists.
The Rangers never threatened.
McLeod, Howla, Brat, and Tatar had the goals for the Devils. The Rangers 0 for 4 on the power play. Oh, I'm sorry. Schmid, 31 saves for the shutout. Yep. His second of the series. He's the starting goalie moving forward. No question.
You can't not.
No. I mean, in the 5 games that he played, he let in 1 goal, 0 goals, 2 goals, 5 goals, and then 0 goals.
Yeah.
And then, Chris Kreider, -4 in this game. He was on the ice for every one of the Devils' goals.
Yep.
And just kind of in general, a lot of no-shows by the Rangers in this series. I didn't even realize it until I looked.
And Mika.
Until I looked at the stat line for the Rangers. Like a lot of no-shows.
Panarin had 2 assists in the first game, and then
that was it.
That was it.
Yeah, and then he did not show up for the rest of it.
Zibanejad.
So, hey, Chris Kreider and Adam Fox were really the only guys that were doing anything. For the most part, Chris Kreider 6 goals, 3 assists in the 7 games. Great series for him.
He had a great series.
Adam Fox 8 assists, very good series. Patrick Kane had a goal and 5 assists, not bad.
Unfortunately, all five of those 6 came on the power play.
Yeah.
So when that power play dries up for 4 games,
can't do anything.
Nope.
Tarasenko did have 3 goals in the series. Zibanejad and Kakko had a goal and 3 assists each.
Kane did exactly what he was hired for.
Kane did fine.
Yeah.
He was a power play. Everybody knows he's older.
You paid a second and a fourth for a rental. He put up...
And not even just a rental, like an injured rental. Everybody knew he was injured.
6 points in 7 games.
Yeah. But, like, moving... Oh, I'm sorry. It was Zibanejad. Hedl had the goal and 3 assists, and not Kakko. And then past that, Kakko and Lindgren had a goal and assist in the series.
Look at Lafreniere down the bottom right there.
Mikkola and Panarin each had 2 assists. And then a bunch of 1s. And then down here, Lafreniere, nothing.
He looked like he was skating around with bags of sand.
Lafreniere, no points at all. He wasn't even, plus minus.
No.
Tyler Mott, nothing. No points, -1. Jake Trouba, not the biggest scoring defenseman in the world. No points, -1. Boy, oh boy. Trocheck had that 1 goal in Game 4. Keandre Miller was there.
And we mentioned, like, the Trouba hit on Meyer in Game 7.
Oh, yes, we did kind of mention that.
You would think, like, that was a massive hit.
It was.
We can argue about the legality another time. Doesn't really matter.
Questionable, leaning towards legal.
Yeah.
It was a big hit.
Rule book, completely legal. Yeah. Whether or not it was clean, that's a...
Morally, I don't know.
That's where it is. But you'd think a massive hit like that would spark the team as well?
Nope.
Nothing.
Nope. Yeah. I do feel bad for Timo Meier. He got the shit beat out of him in the series. The entire series. It seemed like he was the punching bag for the Rangers.
He was such a pest. He didn't really put up that many points.
No.
But
honestly, nobody on the Devils really put up that many points.
He didn't put up that many points, but he was getting under the skin of Shesterkin. He was like...
That's right, yeah. Well, you can say...
All right, sorry. Shesterkin was there. Shesterkin
played fine.
He played great.
Yeah.
He had a .931 save percentage.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He had a .931.
Yeah. He was there. He was doing his best, but
in Game 5, he skated over to the Rangers bench and yelled at them all to get their heads out of their ass.
Oh, that's right. Yes, when they were getting shut out.
He might demand a trade.
Trade him to the Penguins. Yeah.
Send him out west.
Nope, Penguins. Yeah, 931 save percentage, 196 goals against. Like, come on. Like, come on.
That's excellent.
Those are such good numbers. I think that's the best numbers.
So far.
In the first round, yeah.
No, I mean, like, what we've talked about.
No, I think take out Freddie Anderson, because his goals against doesn't count. But
Schmid is the first one that
Schmid's
counts.
ahead of him, yeah. But Shesterkin right behind Schmid with a 196. Schmid, Jesus Christ, 138 goals against. But save percentage wise, again, Freddie Anderson, Jack Campbell don't really count.
Because they will play half games.
There are Schmid and Shesterkin. Schmid with a 951, Shesterkin with a 931.
Like,
come on, man.
Shesterkin kept you in here. He did exactly what happened last year. Last year,
yeah.
They were carried by a strong power play and Shesterkin.
Through the entirety of the playoffs until they lost, yeah.
For the entire regular season and playoffs.
Yeah. This year they looked better in the regular season. It wasn't... Shesterkin didn't even have... He had a fine season, but it wasn't as good as last year.
Their 5-on-5 wasn't great, but it was still better than last year.
It was still better, yeah.
But
then in the playoffs, they were like, oh no, let's go back to what we were doing last year.
It was Gallant got figured out by the Devils and refused to adjust.
Yeah.
And he's on the hot seat right now.
Maybe he should be. I mean, through those first two games, it was like, oh, the Rangers, Jesus.
Yeah.
They have total control of this series. And then the last five, they're like, this is a different team now.
Yes.
Because the Devils have just figured them out.
Mm-hmm.
But even looking at these stats, like the Devils didn't really put up that. They had they spread it out a lot. Their top scorer was Haula, who had 6 points, 4 goals, 2 assists.
Do you mean that bust Haula?
That bust of Haula.
Wasn't he a first round pick that was considered a bust? Or am I thinking of someone else?
I think you're thinking of Zacha, who he was traded for.
Oh, okay.
Because Haula was on Boston.
Yeah.
Last year, the year before, whatever. And then he was traded to the Devils.
Gotcha.
For Zacha. I think Haula might have been a first-round pick, too. I don't remember. Anyway, right past Haula is Jack Hughes with 3 goals, 2 assists. And then past that, Palat and Hischier both had 5 points, too. And then, past that, too. But, yeah, Schmid is the guy to talk about.
He killed it.
He was just so good for the Devils. Once they made the correct decision to start him in Game 3, he went 4-1, and as I already said, 951 save percentage, 138 goals against. Like, come on, man.
My fault. They were calling Jack Hughes a bust because he wasn't like a star immediately.
Boy, that's really stupid now.
Yeah.
If you look at what he's doing. Yeah, the Devils are looking good going into the second round series against Carolina.
Yes. We'll talk about predictions.
Yeah, we'll have a predictions towards the end, but let's move on. Good job, Devils. You really put one of your bigger rivals in their place.
Yep, and we're gonna stay on the East, and like I mentioned last episode, I love what happened here because these teams are going to start really freaking hating each other.
Oh, especially in this series, they really hate each other.
They're going to start running to each other more and more, and they're going to start hating each other, and I'm here for it.
Hell yeah.
All right, moving on to Toronto versus Tampa Bay.
It's over. The curse is over, baby.
Curse is over. First time they've gotten past the first round since 2004, 2003, 19 years. 19 years.
19 years.
Shoot, how many games did they play?
6.
No, I know that, but this past week. All right, I got it.
Sorry.
Last week was 3. They only played 3, so we're starting out Game 4. Game 4, Toronto wins in overtime. They take a 3-1 series lead. Tampa Bay was up 4-1. Going into the third period of the series,
of this game.
Thank you. I'm gonna keep.
Okay.
I'm gonna fuck this up the entire playoffs.
It happens.
Going into this game where I turned this off because
I went to bed. Yeah.
Yeah, I turned this off. Tampa was in complete control of this game, and then I just happened to check the final score, and I saw that it was tied and going to overtime. And it's just like, well. They scored all these goals where I wasn't watching, so I'm not turning this game back on.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm not
I mean, I think we were both kind of pulling for Toronto in the series, right?
I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious.
Yeah. Because I think I went to bed because I had to work in the morning. I think it was right after they made it 4-2. And as I was getting into bed, it was like, it's 4-3. I was like, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then I was like looking at my phone in bed, and it was like, it's 4-4. I was like, oh, shit.
Yes. So, Toronto beats Tampa Bay in overtime, coming from behind in the third period. This is the first time Tampa Bay has ever lost when they were leading in the third period in the playoffs. Ever.
Ever.
Matthews had the second and third goals. And then Alex Killorn,
Yep.
had 2 goals in this game. But
Fat Alex Killorn.
Kerfoot had the overtime game winner to put the lead on the series. Going into Game 5, Tampa wins.
Yes.
4-2, kind of handily. Esemon for Tampa had a goal and an assist. It kind of looked like, oh man, Tampa's gonna Toronto's gonna blow it.
Here we go.
Here we go
Here
again.
we go.
Another 3-1 series lead. Yeah. They're gonna blow it. I don't really have much to say about this game. Samsonov saved 34 of 37, so his save percentage was above 9-1. But yeah, this kind of was just like Tampa Bay's.
Like, here we go. Man.
This kind of Tampa Bay's game, and very much like here we go. Game 6, they slay the dragon.
In more ways than one.
The demon has been exorcised.
Because they exercised their demon of 19 years, and they slayed the dragon of Tampa Bay, who went to 3 straight Stanley Cups.
Stanley Cups, knocked them out of the first round last year, so this was payback. This was a very close game. This was a goalie duel. It was a 2-1 overtime win for Toronto, and this is another thing. Toronto doesn't normally win goalie duels.
No. You wouldn't think, I assume it was Samsonov versus Vasilevsky. You don't think Samsonov would win.
No, you don't think. And in the past 5 years with the losses against Tampa and Boston, they don't get bounces in their favor. The
gods didn't like them.
The overtime game-winning goal was John Tavares.
It was.
Who turned, just threw it on net. It went off Radish's skate and slowly trickled by Vasilevsky. That's your series.
That's all what needed to happen. That's it.
That's something that doesn't happen for Toronto.
They fucking did it.
They did it.
They did it.
And they're taking on Florida in the next round.
I'll be honest.
This series is terrifying.
The stars are kind of aligning for Toronto, which means they're definitely going to fuck it up against Florida. Because they don't have to play Boston. The Rangers aren't there, you know. The worst they're going to play is a young Devils team.
Which is terrifying.
They're very good. I don't mean to downplay them, but that's like the biggest, because Carolina is beat up, missing a bunch of their top players. Florida is Florida, and then the Devils are basically babies, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that any of those 3 can't beat them.
Right.
You know, but
it's just
like the stars are just kind of aligning for Toronto right now.
Even if it was Boston this next round, especially if just this overtime game was different from this last series, I'd very much have Toronto over Boston.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But
I don't know. That would be 2 demons that they would have to slay in a row.
That's not what has to happen. All right, so that's Toronto in 6. Called it.
You did, yeah. I was gonna say you called that correctly, yeah.
So Samsonov played all 6 games. He only had a 9 save percentage with a .314 goals against average. Vasilevsky, on the other hand, had an .875 save percentage with a .356 goals against average. Mitch Marner is their top player with 2 goals and 9 assists. He had 11 points in these 6 games. And Matthews had 9 points, 5 goals, 4 assists. On the other hand, for Tampa Bay, Cirelli and Kucherov are their top players, both having 6 points. Cirelli 3 goals, 3 assists. Kucherov 1 goal, 5 assists.
Poor Darren Radish.
Words. I know,
He had
right?
that goal.
Yes.
They should give him an extra goal.
They really should. Toronto's power play was 28%, 29%.
It's not bad.
That's
It's not bad.
pretty good. 76% on the penalty kill, and then reverse that math for Tampa, 23%, 71%. So we'll see how that is in the next round.
Hey Tanner Chanel, what you doing? Them 0 points.
We're gonna go into with that comment. Let's talk about some news real fast.
Sure. You're gonna talk about all the injuries that are being announced after.
Yes.
Teams are getting knocked out.
So
this is a fun time of the year where you get to learn what all of the injuries were.
Yeah. So far, from what I've seen, only Tampa has come out and really announced all of their injuries.
No, Boston said a few.
They said a couple.
They said Bergeron's and Allmarks.
They haven't officially announced Allmarks yet. They said it was a lower body. They didn't say
they
what.
haven't said what it is.
Normally at this time they say
they're like, okay, well these are all of the broken ribs and broken hands and whatever that they're.
Tyler Jeannot has been dealing with a high ankle sprain the entire series.
Begs the question why he was playing, but that's fine.
Exactly. Braden Point had a fractured rib.
Yep.
Victor Hedman had a hip. Oh, what was the word?
Flexor?
Impairment.
Oh, impairment. Yeah. It was something weird like
Doesn't
that.
even know what that means. Like, I don't even know what that means.
know.
It sounds like it sucks. You don't want to
probably sucks.
You don't want a defenseman having hip problems, especially of Hedman's caliber. Cernak, we know about that concussion because it came against Michael. Bunting gave it to him.
Yeah.
And then Esamal, also from that first game, he got hit up high, but he's been dealing with concussion symptoms for the rest of the series.
Well, they did clarify that he was cleared after. Sorry, I'm yawning.
He was cleared.
He was cleared after Game 5. He wasn't playing the entire time with concussion
That's
symptoms.
true, but Game 5, he did still.
Because when they announced that, everybody was like,
He had a goal and an assist.
They were like, no, he was cleared after Game 5.
Yeah. So he was dealing with concussion symptoms. Michael Bunting served his entire suspension and then
didn't play in
and
Game
then
5
didn't
either.
play in Game 5. He only came back in Game 6 when they lost because they had won all 3 games. He was out.
Yeah, it's true.
So they're just like, we're not
going to take Michael Nye's knees?
They still didn't.
No, I know.
Nyes
but they
played
were
the
like,
entire series.
Like, we're not going to take him out.
Thank you for bringing that up because I meant to bring it up last week because Nyes killed it. He took
Knife.
Bunting's spot, and he didn't put up many points, but defensively,
he was
great.
there. Yeah,
he saved one of their games.
He had 3 assists. That's not bad for a rookie.
He saved
+3
Game 4 by taking a puck off the line that was going in. It had bounced through Samsonov, and he swatted it away.
Yeah.
So, like, they don't win Game 4 if it wasn't for him defensively.
Yeah, he played good.
He played great. So, we'll see what happens in round 2.
I think they should still let Kyle Dubas explore free agency, though. I'm just saying.
I mean, he exploded when they won with that
He did.
overtime.
And I want that passion with the Penguins.
So he got heckled. He was heckling with Tampa Bay fans.
I will say, it's crazy that those fans were that close to him.
Right?
It's crazy.
He looked like he was going to start talking shit down at the stands when they won that series because the winning goal, Toronto won in Tampa.
And I'm just saying, Fenway Sports Group has a lot of money, Kyle Dubas. I'm just saying.
Continue.
All right. Let's move on to the West.
To the West.
To the West, baby. And we're going to talk about Dallas. Well, let me pull up these statistics real quick. Dallas and Minnesota. Dallas winning this series 4-2. That's in 6 games if you can't count.
What did I say? Did I say 7?
I think you did, yeah.
Or did we agree on 6?
No, I think this was one where I said 6.
You were right.
7. Yeah,
you were 100% right.
Right. Yeah, maybe you were right. I think you still picked Dallas.
I
did
pick
pick Dallas in 7.
Okay.
Yeah. You just put that there. Yeah, Dallas. 4-2. Series win.
Yeah.
And honestly, could have ended in 5.
It really could have.
Dallas really had a lot of control of this series. Game 5. So coming into Game 5, this series was tied.
Yes.
2-2. Dallas 4-0 shutout. That's the third 4-0 shutout of this week, by the way.
Yep.
Dallas was 2 for 6 on the power play. Roope Hintz had 3 assists. Robertson and Sagan, who showed up in this series.
Sagan showed up in this series.
A goal and an assist. Ottinger, 27 saves. Now, Roope Hintz in this game scored his 11th point of the series, which is a Dallas Stars record.
Yeah.
Foligno of Minnesota was ejected from this game for a knee-on-knee hit.
Was this the one where
he had got beaten up the game before, and he was all mad that they didn't call stuff? No, I don't know that this.
I don't think this was actually should have been knee on knee, been called a knee on knee.
Yeah,
but you can't, like you called out the refs the game before.
Yeah, so they're gonna be like, "Oh, hey, what's up?
Bye.
We're paying attention." Yeah, so he got kicked out for that. Now, I don't think I would ever say anybody intentionally did a knee-on-knee hit because it hurts you too.
Yeah.
But still, he got tossed for it. He didn't get suspended for it because he played in Game 6.
Yes.
Right?
No, I don't think he got suspended.
I don't think he got suspended.
No.
Where's he at on this list? Where is you?
5.
Ficino.
He's on.
Oh, so maybe he did get suspended for a game.
No, 6 games.
Where? Oh, he's number 5. No, he's not.
Yeah, he is. Frederick Cudero.
We're talking about Nick Foligno.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Marcus Foligno, I'm sorry. Sorry, we're looking at the list.
He played 6.
He played 6, so he did not get suspended. Nor do I think he should have. But he did get ejected from this game for it. I think probably, as you said, mostly for bitching about the refs to the media the night before, a couple of nights before.
That's really what it was.
And, the refs are divas. As much as we wish, somebody needs to invent robot refs so that we can just
let them go.
Take the human element out of these games. They're already trying in baseball. They're going to be like, we're going to have the robots call balls and strikes from now on.
And even
That's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming. There's some changes in baseball. I'm like, why? Like the bigger bases to make base stealing easier.
Bigger bases have been fun.
I get it. It makes it more fun and more enjoyable to watch. The base runner in extra innings.
That's stupid.
I hate that. But the pitch clock, love it.
The cutting down on the shift too has been
love it.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And only 2 pickoff attempts.
Again, I think I mentioned this last week. I've been watching a lot of John Boy baseball videos, so I've been thinking about baseball a lot.
Small ball is back, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, so shout out again to John Boy. Please notice us. Notice us, senpai. But anyway, moving on to Game 6. So, after Game 5, obviously Dallas is up 3-2 in the series. Dallas wins 4-1 to knock out Minnesota Wild.
Offensively, Minnesota just couldn't beat Dallas's defense.
I mean, this game was 4-1. It wasn't that close.
No,
it wasn't as close, even as close as 4-1. Dallas 0 for 2 on the power play. Domi and Marchment each had a goal and an assist. Ottinger 23-24. Hintz and Johnston had the other goals. Johnston, yeah. And Minnesota 0 for 2. Freddie Gaudreau had the 1 goal. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
I'll say this. Boldy and Kaprizov, ghosts.
Oh, they were?
Series. Absolute ghosts.
Let's look at their... had, 1 point?
Something like that. I think that's what Boldy had, too. They were, barely even there.
It's more, also...
Yeah, Kaprizov, 1 goal. Where's Matt Boldy? Matt Boldy had 3 assists, but, Matt Boldy was also a -5. Boldy, you could excuse.
That's congrats to Dallas's defense for shutting them down, too.
True. True. Let's not take away from Dallas. But Matt Boldy, you can excuse a little bit. He was a rookie this year or second-year player. He's young.
Yeah.
Kaprizov, bro.
He came back from that injury.
I know, but, barely even there. And it also calls into question that wild decision to start Marc-Andre Fleury in Game 2.
Why would
you
do that?
After Gustafsson had a great Game 1. and they didn't make that. They didn't make that. Well, Fleury did play another game where Gustafson got pulled from, but he didn't start. And I love Marc-Andre Fleury. He did not look good in this series. And he's like 38.
Well, he's basically said that this last year was going to be his last.
He's going to play out his contract and then retire. Yeah, which is next year. So, more power to him. I think the Penguins will probably retire his number.
Probably.
But he won that Vezina in Vegas, which, honestly, he should have at least been talked about for Vezina a couple of times in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. But let's move on. Let's look at Dallas really quick. Roope Hintz, 12 points in this series.
Crazy.
I think that's the most points of anybody in the first round, I think.
Until we get to my guys. Maybe.
No, I think it is.
Nope, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, because Marner and then
Draisaitl
had 11. But, so Roope Hintz, 12 points, 5 goals, 7 assists. He had a hell of a series.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I already said, record for Dallas.
Man went off.
Sir went off. Jason Robertson had a pretty good series. 2 goals, 5 assists.
Dadonov had a great series.
Dadonov had a good series. 3 goals, 4 assists. Heiskanen, 6 assists. Tyler Seguin showed up. 4 goals and 2 assists.
With Pavelski out.
Seguin
showed up.
That's right. I think for Game 6, Pavelski was a game-time decision. He did not end up playing.
No, he was skating.
So, he's okay.
Yeah,
thankfully.
He's not dead.
After that hit, I was like, I don't know about Pavelski playing anymore this postseason. But, yeah. That's it for Dallas and Minnesota. Dallas moves on.
The man can come back from
maybe he'll be back.
Awful-looking concussions.
Maybe he'll be back for this next series. We'll see.
They've actually talked about he should be good to go for the series.
All right. Well, that's great. Then that hit was, it looked worse than it was, thankfully. Thank God these guys wear helmets. Let's just say that.
God.
Thank God they're wearing helmets because it mitigates at least some of the damage that's happening in there. But I will say we'll go more into it when we do our off-season previews.
Yeah.
Minnesota's in a tough spot moving forward.
Boston is in a super tough spot.
Yeah. I think Boston and Minnesota are in real bad spots heading into the off-season.
Boston has $6 million to work with.
I think Minnesota might have less than that. Because of the Parise and Suter contract buyouts, they get worse next year.
Yeah, but then they get better after that, right?
No, I think it's worse the next 2 years. I think it gets worse next year, and then it's the same the year after, and then they drop to almost nothing.
Oh, Chuck Fletcher, what did you do?
Yeah, those are bad contracts. And you know what's really funny?
Buying out. He bought it out.
The buyout. Well, actually, Guerin did the buyout. But he, they still made the playoffs, which I thought was going to be hard for them to do. But now they're going to move forward. I believe Gustafsson is an RFA.
Right.
That's going to be dangerous.
Swayman's an RFA, too.
Ooh, come to Pittsburgh.
Offer sheet him a 5-5. They can't match it.
Kyle Dubas, come to Pittsburgh. You go wild, baby. You come over here, you go wild. Yeah, I don't know. Minnesota's in a tough spot moving forward, just because their cap situation is really, really bad. It got fucked up by those buyouts, but at least I will say Guerin knew that was going to happen. It's not like he didn't. And what's really funny was when Parise and Suter signed those contracts way back when.
2013.
Was it then? Was it 2013?
It was Parise after that cup run with the Devils.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But
there was talk. They were the 2 big free agents.
Yep.
And everybody was talking where are they going to go? Where are they going to go? So they both ended up signing in Minnesota.
They called each other to do it.
Yeah, and they're both from Minnesota, so that made sense. But there was scuttlebutt that they were going to both sign in Pittsburgh, the week prior, because I remember hearing that on Pittsburgh radio when I was listening to it. I was like, whoa, that'd be crazy.
Right.
And it might have been crazy, adding to Malkin and Crosby, but God only knows how that would have, monkey paw.
Yeah.
As you will there. But I called this series 100% correct.
Yes, you did. I will give you that. Here's a series that we both fucked up on.
Oh, is this Colorado and Seattle?
Yes, and this is the
boy, oh boy.
This is the series that the winner faces Dallas here.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
We both called Colorado in 5.
I think we initially said 5, and then I changed mine to 4 because I was like, you know what? Because like the way you were talking, I was like, you know what? They're gonna smoke them. We were both very wrong.
We were both very wrong because.
And you know what? It takes a strong man to admit when he's wrong.
Seattle wins in 7.
Crazy, dude.
Crazy. To me, this one is more surprising than the Florida. Florida.
Yeah,
Bruins.
I would tend to agree with you. I think the Bruins one is just crazy because they were up 3-1 in the series.
Yes.
And now Toronto fans are going to meme that into dust.
They started it immediately.
Yeah, no, I know.
Immediately.
No, I know. I saw.
As they should have.
No, of course.
And they say, I've seen Toronto fans, it's like, we get to be obnoxious for at least 4 more games.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
All right, we are starting off. Last week they had 3 games. This week we start off with Game 4. This is an overtime winner of Seattle. Ties the series up at 2. 3-2 Seattle win. Grubauer 20 for 22, while Georgiev. So Seattle faced 22 Seattle faced 22 shots.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado faced 43.
Yeah.
Seattle was all over them. Georgiev.
Seattle really put Colorado on their heels in this series.
The entire time. Every single game. All 7 games of this series, Seattle scored first. That's a record.
They had some like crazy stat that they scored first in like the majority of their games.
It was absolutely crazy. Everly had the overtime game winner. Mikko Rantanen had both goals in that series, and then we go on. And Seattle was 2 for 5 on their power play. Colorado 1 for 3 on theirs. Then we move over to Game 5, where Seattle takes the lead in the series with another 3-2 win.
Crazy.
This was much more even on the shots, 28-29. Ty Cartier had his debut playoff game, scored his debut goal.
Isn't Cartier like a designer brand?
I believe so.
Yeah. I wonder if he's related to them.
No, because it's spelled completely different.
Oh, okay.
Cartier, the designer brand is like Cartie. Some French shit that I hate.
French bullshit that I hate.
This Cartier.
Clay says.
Look, we've all talked about how my French pronunciations of names are.
Oh yeah.
Not great.
It's a running joke the first season.
And second.
I will say you've been much better with name pronunciations this season.
Active effort. Cartier in this sense is spelled Kartye.
Okay.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I had to listen to them say this.
Okay, yeah, I would have had to look that up too. Be like, how do you say that name?
He scored the second goal in this for Seattle, and this is the one where if McKinnon wasn't bitching at the refs for a perceived trip.
Oh yeah.
And just back-checked.
I think he was correct.
This one could have gone either way.
Yeah, it was close. It was close call.
Whoever tripped him blew out a tire, and just the swinging of that foot
caught McKinnon.
I could see this going either way. A call, no call. I can see it go either way. But to completely like smash your stick at the boards while yelling at the ref instead of back checking.
While the other team scores, yeah.
It's a good thing they scored because they might have tossed you.
Yeah.
For unsportsmanlike.
Because the refs are like, that's embarrassing enough.
Oh, yeah, exactly. McKinnon did have a goal and assist this game as well. Then to Game 5, Colorado played like we thought Colorado would and beat Seattle pretty handedly. Grubauer 4-1 was this game. Grubauer faced 38 shots while Georgiev only faced 23, so they really outshot them there. Rantanen had a goal and an assist, ended up being the game winner, but also Devin Taves had 3 assists, so I just wanted to mention him as well.
He gets lost in the shuffle with Makar.
He really does.
He's a very good defenseman, too.
Makar was suspended for Game 5 for a hit on McCann. Was it Game 4 or 5?
I think it was Game 5 because Seattle won that game.
Yes.
That he was suspended for.
Yes. So during Game 4, Makar hit McCann pretty late.
Yeah.
Banged him up. He
slammed his head into the boards.
He ended up not playing the rest of the game. I don't know if he came back in the series.
I don't think he did.
I don't think he has.
Did, yeah.
So their 40-goal scorer is out.
Might be back sometime in the next series, but we'll see.
So Makar was suspended, but in Game 6...
Yes, he only played 4 games, Jared McCann.
Unfortunately, Jordan Eberle boards Cogliano.
That was Game 6?
That was Game 6.
Oh, I thought that was in Game 7.
No, because the argument was Eberle should not have played in Game 7 because this board was bad.
It was pretty bad.
It was pretty egregious. It should have been suspension. Cogliano did come back into the game, and then they later announced...
Which is insane.
They later announced because his neck was broken.
Yeah, that's insane that he came back into the game.
What the hell? His C5 vertebrae was broken. I don't know how, but he's lucky he wasn't paralyzed.
I mean, I know how it was from that hit, but like...
No, I mean like within the vertebrae. Could have been just one of those wings on the end.
Outrageous that he came back into
Oh
that
my
game.
God.
I mean, now, they probably didn't do x-rays.
No, they didn't do x-rays.
They don't have an x-ray machine at the rink, but...
I think they might.
I mean, some teams might. I don't know. But I would guess they don't. And so maybe they didn't know that his neck was broken. And he was like, no, I feel all right. I mean, it hurts, but I can go back in.
Yeah.
And
Shoot
then
me
they
up
were
with
like...
some Toradol and I'll be fine.
They were like, oh, your neck's broken.
Right, like...
That's not... You never want to hear that.
What the
hell?
hell?
Oh, your neck's broken. Like, what?
Jeez, us. But yeah, in that game, I will admit, I really should have gotten suspended for that. That was numbers.
Was pretty bad.
Numbers the entire way.
It was pretty bad.
Cogliano is lucky he wasn't paralyzed.
Thankfully.
But yeah, so that's been the controversy. Has been the suspension versus the non-suspension.
Well, they can't do it retroactively,
though.
No, so like they already lost their chance to do it.
Exactly, because they said, hey, if he was injured, they might have suspended him like immediately.
He was injured. His neck was broken.
Right, but like he came back. And that's the stupid thing with the DPOS.
Put Paul Correa in charge of DPOS.
Or Savard. Someone who's somebody
whose career
was
was cut short by injuries or concussions.
Don't put a goon.
Thank God George Peros is there. Is he still in charge of it? I think it's still him, yeah.
So,
and even before him, it was some other goon.
Yeah. So because they said because the DPOS came out before the injury was announced, they're just like, we're not looking at it.
Make it Charles Barkley.
Oh my God.
He'd be like, that looks wrong.
That's not...
No, you're suspended for like 8 games.
There was multiple games where Charles Barkley was talking about the NBA playoffs, saying this game is boring.
Well, he was supposed to be talking about the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, he's like, this game is boring, and he watched the NFL playoffs.
NHL playoffs.
I don't care. I'm 2.5 beers in, and I haven't had much to eat.
Dog, you're 1.5 beers in.
I'm on my 2nd beer, halfway in. Haven't had much to eat or drink.
We're off the rails. I also am the same way.
Awesome. Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
And
cheers to you at home, too. Thank you for listening once again. I just want to get that out there.
Yeah,
we
I know,
appreciate
right? Yeah.
anybody that's listening.
Game 7. Seattle wins.
Yeah.
2-1. In a goalie battle.
Yeah.
Where Grubauer, this entire series, has played like Grubauer played when he was on Colorado.
Yeah. Doesn't that suck for Colorado that he's on Seattle?
Bjorkstrand got both goals in this game.
Man.
In the first period, early second period.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. That might have been one of the worst not the worst trade that's happened recently. The Bjorkstrand to Seattle trade from Columbus.
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere, they just did that because it's not like Columbus had to, and they were just like,
They
"Here,
did not
have
Bjorkstrand.
have Bjorkstrand." And for like a like 2 second-round picks or a
Yeah.
second and a third or
Pretty
something,
cheap.
and it was just like, I don't know how many goals he scored in the regular season, but like he's been impactful for
Very
Seattle.
much so.
Yeah.
So, all right. Ending series stats. Grubauer ended the series with a 9.26 save percentage, with a 2.44 goals against. Georgiev with a 9.16 and a 2.53 goals against. So both goalies played very well.
I'm sorry. Yeah, both played pretty well.
Unfortunately, one has to go home.
Somebody has to win.
Yanni Gord is their top player with 1 goal and 5 assists. That's 6 points.
Yanni.
Their points were very much spread out.
Oh yeah.
Along the boards. And then Jaden Schwartz is number 2 with 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points. There is, who's third?
Schultz.
Schultz is also tied with 5 points, but Schwartz had more goals, so I put him in. Power play, 14% for Seattle. That's not good.
No, it's pretty bad.
Penalty kill was 89%.
That's pretty good compared to what we've mentioned so far. Like is that the best one? Probably, right?
So far, yes. Especially during like their penalty kill during the regular season was not 89% either. So for Colorado, Rantanen is their top player with 10 points, 7 goals, 3 assists, and then
the Hurricanes actually had a better penalty kill with 94.4%.
Sorry, yes, they did.
I didn't write that down. So
Devin Taves had 9 points, 1 goal, 8 assists. So those are their top 2 Colorado players. McKinnon is in the mix, but their power play was 11%.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That's not bad.
Colorado, they don't rely on the power play like a team like the Rangers do, or even kind of Edmonton to a certain extent. But
yes, Edmonton relies on it.
Yeah,
it's safe to say.
But Edmonton has the number 1 best player in the league, and then I don't know where you would rank McDavid up there, but no, I'm just joking. Where you would rank Draisaitl, but maybe top 5 for Draisaitl.
Right?
He's a very good player too.
And
I just saw Edmonton's power play number. That's
absurd.
Outrageous.
I'm going to let you know, in Game 6, when they were 1 for 2 on the power play, Edmonton's power play percentage went down.
Yeah, that's nuts.
All right, but we'll talk about that after you finish up your series.
Let's finish up. This one's actually kind of quick. Vegas wins in 5.
Yeah.
Which I called correctly.
What did I say? 6?
You said Vegas. I think you said 6. But yeah, Vegas just like really outclassed. This is the one series where it was really clear who was going to win.
This series was also crazy because a lot of analytics had Vegas losing this series to Winnipeg. Yeah. It was kind of 50-50, but it did favor Winnipeg. 2, like after 3-4 games in this series, the hits in this series were like 100 per 60.
That's that's a lot.
They were throwing the bodies.
Both teams, yeah.
In this series.
That's kind of what both of these teams do to some extent. Like they're like the Winnipeg, I would say, is kind of a bruiser team to a certain extent. They have a bunch of big guys that play. They have skill players.
Yes.
Too, I'm not saying that, but
they're less bruiser than when they had Byfuglien.
True. But they're still bruiser as teams go. So, Vegas took it in 5, 4-1, and was pretty much in control of this entire series. Game 4, coming into this week, they were up 2-1. Game 4, Vegas won 4-2. They were 0-2 on the power play. Howden had 2 goals. Stevenson, 2 assists. Theodore, 2 assists.
Mm-hmm.
Winnipeg was 2-2 on the power play in this game. Blake Wheeler, a goal and an assist. Pionk, 2 assists. I love his name.
It's a great
Neil Pionk.
Neil
Pionk. Now Pionk, I believe, was the one who had 3 assists on the when Winnipeg came back in Game 3 to tie it at 4 and then lose a double overtime.
Yeah.
Moving on to that's it for Game 4, really. Moving on to Game 5, Vegas won 4-1. They're 1 for 2 on the power play. Stevenson had 2 goals. Stone, a goal and 2 assists. Brisebois had 29 of 30 of those shots. Winnipeg didn't even get a power play in this game, which is crazy because they're playing Vegas.
In Game 7, Seattle, Colorado, Colorado was 1 for 1 on their power play. Seattle did not get a power play in Game 7.
That's really weird. It's one of those things like, oh, the refs swallowed the whistles. Well, there was only 2 power plays for Vegas in this game, too.
Right.
So they were probably like egregious things that they couldn't ignore. It's one of the things that I hate in the playoffs. Especially late in series, they're like, so just let the boys play. Early in the series, they'll be like, they'll call stuff. But like once it gets to Game 6, Game 7, they'll be like, well, let them play. Let me finish this game.
Okay, yeah.
Connor had the 1 goal for Winnipeg, and that's a knockout, baby. Yeah. 5 games, Vegas. Not much to say, really.
No.
Winnipeg barely showed up. Let's look at their stat lines really quick.
And their coach called them out for it?
He did. Pionk is their top player. He had 7 assists.
Wow.
Wheeler, 2 goals, 4 assists. Lowry had 4 goals and an assist. Connor, 3 goals, 1 assist. Rick Bowness, who is their head coach, after they got knocked out, was like, yeah, it would have been cool if like guys showed up.
Yeah.
Or something. That's paraphrasing, but like something along those lines. And that's a shot at like Mark Scheifele
and Wheeler.
Wheeler had 6 points.
He was calling out Scheifele and Wheeler.
Scheifele and Wheeler.
Because Wheeler made a response.
Yeah, because Wheeler was like, oh, well, that's just like, I wish we could have done this behind closed doors. And every response to that, it wasn't a tweet, but like that interview was like,
you think he hadn't done that already?
Yeah, it's like, oh, weird, the toxic player wants to do it behind closed doors.
Right.
Yeah, like, crazy. The guy that got the captaincy stripped off of him wants to do it behind closed doors.
The guy who bullied Laine off
the team, yeah. So, I think Winnipeg should just kind of blow it up.
Well,
at this point, I think they could still get a lot for.
You can get a king's ransom for Hellebuck.
Yeah, Hellebuck you can get the moon for. You could still get a lot for guys like I don't know what their contract stats are, but you could still get probably a good amount for Wheeler, probably a good amount for Scheifele. Trade Pierre-Luc Dubois to Montreal. I'm sure you could convince them to trade him something. Not this year. I think he's an RFA this year. I think next year he's a UFA. I'm pretty sure. Wait, how old is he? It's an age thing in the NHL.
Oh, he's definitely an RFA.
He's definitely still an RFA. So now you got to convince Montreal to actually make that deal because it's been kind of clear from what his agent has said that he wants to play for Montreal.
Yep.
So okay, he's gonna go there eventually. I mean, you could
also get for free or I go for a little bit. You get something for me.
You could also get a king's ransom for Kyle Connor too.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't think Kyle Connor needs to go. He's not.
I don't know, man. If you're gonna blow it up, blow it up. How old is Kyle Connor? He's 26. He's in his prime. He had 31 goals this year, but 40 something the year prior.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Winnipeg's just kind of in. They're just kind of in that place where they're just like kind of stalling out. They make the playoffs, but then they just don't do anything in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They had that one year where they made a run to the Western Conference Finals, but then that was all they did.
Yeah.
And then since before and since that, they've just kind of done shit.
Right.
So maybe they make the playoffs, maybe they don't.
Look, Winnipeg's a hard free agent destination, but
Winnipeg, the city, is kind of hard to live in.
The city is a hard destination, but also maybe talks about the team culture. Might be another problem.
I think at the very least, you got to get rid of Wheeler and Scheifele. They're clearly issues for the team. They both had good seasons.
Remember when Scheifele tried to kill Evans?
Yeah.
In the bubble?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's just like one of those things. It's like, yeah, they're both skilled players, but like, at what point do you just let them just poison your locker room?
Send them to a place with a better locker room culture.
Where they're not the leaders. Yeah. Send them somewhere. Not that this is going to happen, but like, you send Blake Wheeler to like Pittsburgh.
He's not the
They're
leader.
going to tell him to shut the fuck up.
Right.
Sidney Crosby's going to be like, no.
Even
sit back down.
Even Gensel would be like, even a younger guy being like,
and
sit down, shut up.
And he's like, we followed this guy over here.
Yeah.
Shut up. You're just here to play. But send him somewhere like that, or Boston like that too. Like I don't know. Send him somewhere where the team's gonna tell him to shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
and he's gonna listen because he's in a team that's like has a more stable base to it.
Like Boston doesn't say the word rookie here. Like there's no such thing as rookie.
Yeah, you think? Well, Wheeler used to be on Boston. Actually,
They did.
You think that if he was on Boston, Laine was on Boston. You think Bergeron would have let him bully Laine? Nope.
You think Chara would have?
Nope. So like, I don't know. I think him and Scheifele need to go to teams that have a stronger hand.
Because even
stronger-handed captain.
Even with like Scheifele talking about,
or even a stronger-handed coach. I mean, Bonus called them out, but like,
right.
That's
a man who's 68, was about to retire, and doesn't care about job security anymore.
Yeah, he's like, fuck it, I'll just retire if you guys fire me.
And the ownership group kind of walked back those comments.
The ownership group is kind of an issue then too. I don't know. I think Winnipeg should just get what they can for the pieces they have.
Yeah. But we can talk more about that, actually.
Yeah, you're right. Let's talk about Vegas really quick before we move on to our last series. Chandler Stevenson had a hell of a series for Vegas.
Remember when
4 goals, 4 assists.
Remember when we said he couldn't be a number one center? He's kind of proved us all wrong.
He's doing a great job. I mean, he's not the number one center. They have Eichel. But last year. But look, he had a great series. 4 goals, 4 assists in 5 games. Mark Stone also had 8 points, 3 goals, 5 assists. William Karlsson, 4 goals and an assist. Eichel, 3 goals and 2 assists.
He had a great series for his first
playoff series.
First ever playoff series.
I don't know. I'd be kind of worried about Vegas. They seem to be gelling moving forward. But their opponents
we'll talk about,
are no slouch either.
Right now. So, this series, I did have the winner, but I had it going further.
Did you? Oh, I called this correctly.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. The only series in the West that I did not call correctly was Colorado.
Yes. So, Edmonton versus LA, rematch of last year. Edmonton ends it in 6.
Yeah. Edmonton looked good.
This series was so much fun. It's a darn shame that it was a late night game.
Yeah, I couldn't watch it at all.
That people on the East Coast couldn't watch it because these games were track meets the entire time. It was so open. It was going back and
forth.
Neither
team wanted to play defense. Neither goalie wanted to stop anything.
Neither team wanted to play penalty. Neither team wanted to
kill a penalty.
It's not the goalie's fault that they got left for dead the entire series.
Yeah, just looking at it, Edmonton had the number 1 power play of the first round, and the Kings had the number 5 power play of the first round.
Yes. So, all right, game 4. Going into this week, the Kings actually led 2-1 in this series.
Oh yeah, that's right, they did.
This game 4 does go to overtime with an Edmonton victory, 5-4. Korpisalo Skinner started this game for Edmonton, and Campbell finished it because within the first period, the Kings were up 3-0.
Yeah, Skinner didn't look great in that first period.
Ugly.
Yeah.
But in the second period, Edmonton fought back and tied the game 3-3.
Yeah, they did.
And then it was back and forth in the third period with a Draisaitl. Nope. Draisaitl had 2 goals and assists, but I don't think he had the game-winning goal.
No,
but they won in overtime.
I was watching this game. I think he scored both his goals in the second period.
They won in overtime. As Bert just mentioned with the power plays, the Kings were 1 for 2, and Edmonton was 2 for 3.
Yep.
All right. Game 5, Edmonton just kind of ran away with it. They took the lead in the series. It was a 6-3 win. Edmonton was again 2 for 3 on their power play, while the Kings were 0 for 1.
Wild.
Korpisalo did start, but Copley finished this game. It wasn't super helpful. He still had 2 put in on him. Kempe did have a goal and an assist, and then Bukestad had 2 goals in this game.
That's insane that Nick Bukestad scored 2 goals in any game.
2 goals. And then game 6 was the elimination game for the Kings. This one was such a crazy game. I loved it. The Oilers were winning, and then with like a couple halfway through the third period, the Oilers are on the power play. Skinner tries to play the puck. His stick breaks. Danault puts the puck in the net.
Yep.
It looked like an awful goalie turnover, but like
his stick broke.
But like kind of like Allmark's. But if you looked at it, his stick
Allmark's was bad. Allmark's was on Allmark.
Allmark was on Allmark, but like if you look at Skinner's, his stick was slashed previously.
So it was weakened.
It
was already broken.
Already broken. So like
just saying that's a penalty.
Trying to play the puck, just snapped the stick in half, and the Danault put it in for the shorthanded goal. The Kings' power play was 2 for 3 in this game.
Whoa!
And then the Oilers was 1 for 2.
There you go.
But also gave up that shorthanded goal.
Right.
And then Kaylor Yamamoto had a goal and assist in this game. In game 5, Zach Hyman did score off of his face.
So funny, yeah.
You could see him skating to the bench to give everyone fist bumps while holding his jaw.
He's like, my face.
Trying to smile, but he's clearly in pain. The end of series breakdown. Korpisalo was their goalie in net for the entire time.
He played all right.
He played. He's not what lost the series.
No,
the lack of defense and
that
being able to kill a power play.
Yeah,
lost this series.
Wait, could you imagine if they had just killed if that percentage that you're about to read off for Edmonton, if it was half of that, LA would have won this series.
Remember what we talked about going into this series about how like both penalty kills were 75%.
Yeah,
and
it showed.
And if one of them could be like better than that, they'd win. Here we are.
And neither of them were.
Neither of them were, but one was worse than the other. Korpisalo had an .892 save percentage with 3.77 goals against. Skinner with an .890 save percentage with 3.43 goals against. Kempe was their top player with 5 goals, 3 assists with 8 points. Kopitar had 2 goals, 5 assists for 7 points. And that power play that the Kings had was 33.3%.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
Really good.
1 for 3 overall, essentially.
1 for 3 overall, but their penalty kill was 43.8%.
Last place in the first round.
Last place.
Yeah.
Because, again, the Edmonton Oilers power play, 56.3%.
Insane.
And like I said, in Game 7, when they went 50%, that actually lowered their power play percentage.
I know. It's insane.
What the hell?
43.8%.
So that's a 66.6% for penalty kill for Edmonton. Draisaitl was their top player, 7 goals, 4 assists. That's 11 points. Bouchard, I'm putting in second because he had 10 points.
Damn.
2 goals, 8 assists.
Damn, Evan.
That's 10 points right there.
Yeah, that's great.
Do you have news? Because I have some news.
I have a little bit of news. I know that Minnesota re-signed Marcus Johansson.
Yes, 2 years.
2-year deal. Did they announce how much money? It was $2 million?
Yes.
Okay, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's fine. He played good for them once he was reacquired.
The second time around.
The second time around. So 2 by 2. I think that was really it.
All right.
Other than like injuries and stuff that they're starting to announce slowly.
Daryl Sutter.
Oh, right.
Was fired for Calgary.
Yep.
Trevelyan was out last week.
Tree living.
I don't
care. But yes, he was.
I don't care anymore. He got fired. He got fired too. He's no longer the GM of Calgary. Also, their new arena is kind of done, or deal is maybe done.
Yeah, I think it's done. No, it's done.
It's not official.
Oh, I do, but they voted on it.
Yes,
I think it's done.
But the guy in charge said one of the guys, politicians, says if he's not elected, then it doesn't go through. So
for God's sakes,
I know.
Go fuck yourself.
And it puts a lot of money on the taxpayers and the city itself.
I know it does. I mean, every one of these
so
arenas
stupid.
do, but oh my God, fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. Ottawa.
We're gonna build a stadium, and Ottawa's gonna pay for it.
Ottawa had a new person join one of their bids. The
one that seems like it's gonna be the bid.
The Nexium?
Yeah.
Nexus?
It's not Nexium.
It's not Nexium.
Nexus something, yeah.
Snoop Dogg joined the Nexus bid.
Him and what's his face?
Ryan Reynolds.
Reynolds.
These are different bids.
Oh, are they?
They are different bids.
My bad. That's so funny, Snoop Dogg.
So Snoop Dogg's in one, Ryan Reynolds is in the other.
Whichever one is the deal that goes through. First of all, it seems like it's going to be over $1 billion that the Senators are going to sell for. And second of all, whichever one of those two does it, I would parade that celebrity at every fucking game. Look, at least for the first season. Look, I would be like, Snoop, you got to come to Ottawa games. If you haven't
watched Wrexham United, like the soccer team.
Oh, didn't they just win?
They won promotion. Yeah. They are now in the English Football League officially.
And that's what, the third best league or something? For England?
I don't even have time.
Okay.
No, it is not. It is down at like the 5th.
Oh, okay.
But they are now officially a professional team.
Oh, fun.
Yes.
Fun. God, that's so crazy. I wish we had that in our sports because the Cleveland Browns would be in like whatever the bottom league. Yep. They would be a college team.
Basically.
Yeah. And so would I don't know, the Pittsburgh Pirates would also be a college
Texans.
team. Houston Texans, yeah.
All right, that's all I got.
Yeah.
First round was a blast.
First round was fun.
Great upsets.
Looking forward to the second round, but we're going to play Who You Got. And we're going to start in the West. Dallas, Seattle. Who you got?
I got Dallas.
Yeah?
6.
Dallas in 6. I'm kind of feeling that too.
That defense and Ottinger was getting better and better over the course of the series.
Yeah, they just, by the end of that series, they were just toying with Minnesota. Yeah. And I don't know. I don't want to count Seattle out of this series.
I understand that Colorado was banged up. They were missing Nichushkinin.
Well, that wasn't an injury. That was something else.
I'm not touching on that just because
it's not really clear what's going on there.
It's just been rumors, so I'm not touching on that until more solid.
Solid. Something happened, and he didn't play like the last 3 games, I think, of that series.
He left after game 2.
Last 5 games of that series, yeah. I'm going to go one step further because I was impressed by Seattle. I'm still saying Dallas is going to win.
But 7?
I'm going to go with 7. I think Seattle is probably going to surprise Dallas too, but I think Dallas might have, because they're not banged up. I think they might have the wherewithal to take out Seattle.
I think they know now they're in the second round. They're not taking anyone lightly. Colorado might have taken. I would hope not. Colorado might have taken Seattle lightly, and
it's not like Dallas wasn't paying attention to the Colorado series either. I'm sure they were looking at it at least. Vegas, Edmonton.
Oh man, this is skip me. Let's go to another series.
Okay, we'll do that one last.
Because this is the first time Edmonton and Vegas have played each other in the playoffs. I don't know, man. With Stone playing,
I have a stat that I'm going to bring up we'll do that one last. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Carolina, New Jersey. I'm thinking New Jersey. I'm thinking New Jersey, just because Carolina's beat up.
Yep.
I think if they were at full strength, I think this would be a very even series.
So what are you saying, 6 or 7?
I think I'm going to say New Jersey. I'm saying 7. I'm saying 7.
I'm going to say 6.
Okay.
I think the kids have no fear right now.
Yeah.
And that is...
And they're the fastest team in the playoffs.
And
by far.
Their speed killed
And
New
York. Carolina isn't nearly as chippy and bruising as the Rangers are. So this is going to be a skill v skill series, both offensively and defensively. But
and
I just think without Svechnikov, without Teravainen, I don't think
know what Brendan Moore's offense is going to be. Yeah. It's cycle around, send it back to the points.
It's going to run through the points and Aho.
Yeah. Defense slaps it, and you hope for a rebound. You know what's going to happen. So.
I think Carolina will I think Carolina will put up a good face in this series, but I don't know that they can win. Toronto and Florida.
Toronto in 7.
Toronto in 7.
Because again, I think this monkey off their back is a huge deal. But they split the series as well. Boston and Florida split the regular season 2-2. Florida and Toronto split their season 2-2, and 3 of those games with the playoffs or overtime. So I do think it's Toronto. This could go completely either way, especially with how much better the Panthers got over their series, and also they were basically playing playoff games during the regular series.
True.
But I think Toronto takes it in the end.
I want you to look me right in the eyes. Toronto in 5.
Jesus Christ, dog.
Yeah. I don't think anything's going to stop Toronto.
Oh, I don't.
At least making the Eastern Conference Finals. At least.
I
don't think anything's going to stop Toronto from making the Stanley Cup playoff. The Stanley Cup Finals. Past that, don't know.
I think Toronto is one of the most dangerous teams in hockey right now.
They got the demon out of them.
Edmonton.
They killed the 19-year demon. They slayed Tampa Bay. I think it's gonna be. I could see it being an All-Canada final.
A Toronto Edmonton final is not out of the question.
No,
because I do have Edmonton over Vegas.
In how many games? I'm gonna say my stat after you say
5.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Stone is the deciding factor that makes them go farther.
Okay.
That Vegas goes farther. But.
Okay, here are the penalty kill numbers for the first round. Who's second to last? Vegas.
Yeah.
58.3%.
And their power play's only
19% rounding up. I was also going to say Edmonton in 5.
Woo!
Because I just, with that number, because I was like, oh, okay, maybe they'll play them closely.
Against Winnipeg's power play?
I was like, oh, maybe they'll play them closely. You know, they got Mark Stone. He's pretty good defensively. And then I pulled up the penalty kill stats, and I was like, whoa, no way.
Winnipeg bodied them on the
You know what, just to be different, I'm going to say Edmonton in 6.
Okay.
Just to be different.
All right.
Yeah, those are our picks for the first round. Hey, we were kind of accurate.
Yes, we were.
I'm sorry, that was the second round. We were kind of accurate in the first round. But, yeah. So just to remind you guys, next week, no episode. I will be out of town, so we can't record, unfortunately, because I have all of the recording stuff.
And also, it makes sense because none of these series will be over, so.
No, not even close. They might be when we put out in 2 weeks.
Yep.
We'll see. But
thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us as always, and maybe we'll start our off-season previews. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how these series are going. But thank you guys for joining us as always. We can be found wherever podcasts are found. Give us a rate, review, subscribe wherever applicable.
Like whatever. Doesn't matter.
Whatever. Follow whatever. You know it. You tolerate it. You tolerate it. But yeah, tell your friends, tell your families, because we're talking pucks out here. And we'll see you in 2 weeks at the same puck time.
At the same puck place.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.